2 Thessalonians 2:8 is being used to support the doctrine that literally all people will be destroyed by the brightness of the coming of Jesus Christ. However, 2 Thessalonians 2:8 simply reveals that the Antichrist will be destroyed by the brightness of the coming of Jesus Christ. We do not have any scripture that proves that all wicked people on planet Earth will be destroyed by the brightness of the coming of Jesus Christ. There is a doctrine that claims that if literally all people are destroyed by the brightness of the coming of Jesus Christ, then people like you and me are consequently not able to scripturally show which mortals will remain on earth during the Millennial Kingdom. And our lack of that explicit scriptural proof is actually being used to support the doctrine that the Matthew 24:31 elect must be people who got left behind during a pre-trib rapture from years earlier. The logic being that some people have to be mortals on planet Earth during the Millennial Kingdom, and if all wicked people are destroyed by the coming of Jesus Christ in 2 Thessalonians 2:8, then the only candidates for mortals on earth during the Millennial Kingdom must be the elect of Matthew 24:31, and those people must have been left behind at a pre-trib rapture from years earlier, according to the doctrine. As I mentioned, some teachers claim that literally all wicked people will be destroyed by the brightness of the coming of Jesus Christ, and those same teachers demand that we show explicit scriptural proof of the existence of non-Matthew 24:31 people who will subsequently be mortals on earth during the Millennial Kingdom. First of all, always remember that some of those teachers may literally be aware of the synergy of Revelation 20:4-5 and 1 Thessalonians 4:16 and 17, which explicitly reveals a post-tribulation rapture. In other words, those teachers see that the Holy Bible reveals a post-trib rapture, but those teachers continue to spread the doctrine of a pre-trib rapture. Those teachers are not addressing the synergy of Revelation 20:4-5 and 1 Thessalonians 4:16-17. Those teachers mysteriously and smoothly walk away from the synergy of Revelation 20:4-5 and 1 Thessalonians 4:16-17, and then they basically say that if you do not show them some non-Matthew 24:31 people who will subsequently be mortals on earth during the Millennial Kingdom, then those teachers, will continue to contradict the synergy of Revelation 24-5 and 1 Thessalonians 4:16-17. If you do not meet the demands of those teachers, if you do not show them some non-Matthew 24:31 people, then those teachers will continue to contradict the word of Jesus Christ. Revelation 1:1 reveals that the book of Revelation is the word of Jesus Christ. Those teachers get you away from the synergy of Revelation 24-5 and 1 Thessalonians 4:16-17, and then they berate you because you cannot point to a Bible verse that clearly references non-Matthew 24:31 people who will subsequently be mortals on earth during the Millennial Kingdom. Always remember that when some teacher says, quote, "The wicked shall be destroyed by the brightness of his coming," unquote, they are not actually directly quoting 2 Thessalonians 2:8 verbatim. The point here is that the teachers who claim that literally all wicked people will be destroyed at the brightness of the coming of Jesus Christ are actually misquoting 2 Thessalonians 2:8. We'll talk about 2 Thessalonians 2:8 in just a bit. Okay, here's the situation. Some teachers claim that the Matthew 24:31 elect will be non-wicked people by the time of Matthew 24:31, which those teachers claim will occur years after a pre-trib rapture. And those teachers claim that the Matthew 24:31 elect must be interpreted to be the only people, non-wicked people, who will remain on planet Earth after the brightness of the coming of Jesus Christ destroys all wicked people when Jesus Christ returns at the end of the tribulation. If 2 Thessalonians 2:8 really is the only verse that teachers use to claim that all wicked people will be destroyed at the coming of Jesus Christ, then not only do we need to consider the fact that some people will be blessed and alive at the end of the 45-day period of Daniel 12:12, but we also need to remember that 2 Thessalonians 2:8 only indicates that one person, the Antichrist, will be destroyed by the brightness of the coming of Jesus Christ. Even if multiple wicked people are killed at the time of 2 Thessalonians 2:8, 2 Thessalonians 2:8 does not indicate that literally all wicked people will be destroyed by the brightness of the coming of Jesus Christ. 2 Thessalonians 2:8, Young's literal translation, And then shall be revealed the lawless one, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the manifestation of his presence. Now listen to 2 Thessalonians 2:8 in the King James Version. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. I have seen direct evidence that the term "that wicked" in 2 Thessalonians 2:8 of the King James Version is being widely prophesied to be the wicked. You can verify that by searching the internet. And the term "the wicked" is being interpreted to mean all the wicked people on planet Earth, every last one of them. If some other Bible verse other than 2 Thessalonians 2:8 shows that literally all wicked people will be destroyed by the brightness of the coming of Jesus Christ, then we need to identify that verse. Maybe I'm just some idiot who hasn't seen that verse yet. If you think that Jeremiah 25:29 through 33 is the passage that certain Christians are looking for, then we can certainly pray about that. But we do need to see if that passage even refers to the coming of Jesus Christ. And real quickly, be aware that if Matthew 13:30 indicates that tares, which can be interpreted to be all wicked people, will be thrown into hell before Matthew 24:31 gathering of people who had been left behind at a pre-trib rapture from years earlier, then the tares, the wicked people, would not be able to fight in Armageddon. The Matthew 13:30 burning tares are not wicked people getting burned by the brightness of the coming of Jesus Christ in 2 Thessalonians 2:8. If all wicked people, tares, go to hell before the alleged left behind elect of Matthew 24:31 get gathered to the Mount of Olives, then no bad guys would invade Armageddon. Matthew 13:30 needs to be understood in proper context. Incidentally, in Matthew 13:37 through 43, Jesus explained his Matthew 13:24 through 30 parable because people asked for an explanation. See Matthew 13:36. And when you see that Jesus Christ revealed in Matthew 13:40 that the tares will be burned at the end of this world, then you need to remember that if tares get burned at the time of Armageddon, then that burning cannot be the true end of the world. The 1,000 years of the Millennial Kingdom will post-date Armageddon, therefore Armageddon is not the true end of the world. And one way or the other, bad guys will invade Armageddon. We can talk about the parable of Matthew 13:37 through 43 in another video. And note that the winepress of Revelation 19:15 is a metaphorical reference to people who will die at Armageddon. And be aware that the term "the remnant" in Revelation 19:21 should not conveniently be interpreted to refer to every single human being who was left behind at the post-tribulation rapture from moments earlier or an hour earlier. That remnant will be killed at Armageddon, but remember that a misinterpretation of Matthew 13:30 has all wicked people thrown into hell, leaving no bad guys to invade Israel at Armageddon. And be aware that after 45 days of Armageddon, some people are blessed. See Daniel 12:12. Those blessed people were not destroyed by the brightness of the coming of Jesus Christ in 2 Thessalonians 2:8. We cannot scripturally prove that the blessed people of Daniel 12:12 are the Matthew 24:31 elect. Incidentally, if you claim that the Matthew 24:31 elect are non-wicked people by the time of Matthew 24:31 who got left behind during a pre-trib rapture from years earlier, and if you claim that those non-wicked Matthew 24:31 people will be the only mortals who will populate Earth during the Millennial Kingdom, then you should at least acknowledge or be aware that some mortals of the Millennial Kingdom will be wicked by the time of Revelation chapter 20, 8 through 9. Now, consider this. The phrase, "no flesh be saved," in Matthew 24:22 does not indicate that no mortal bodies will remain on earth during the Millennial Kingdom. Rather, "no flesh be saved," Matthew 24:22, in its actual context, refers to the basic idea that the pace of the persecution of the saints will be so fast that it would actually be on a pace that would destroy all Christians if indeed the Great Tribulation were allowed to continue for longer than 3.5 years. For instance, at the given eventual pace of the persecution of Christians, all Christians would be killed if indeed the Great Tribulation were allowed to go on and on for 20 or 30 or 40 years. But Jesus Christ indicated in Matthew 24:22 that that will not happen simply because the Great Tribulation will be kept to the relatively short time of 3.5 years. Revelation 12:12 proves that 3.5 years is but a short time. And when you read Matthew 24:22, you should at least read Matthew 24:20 through 22. It really helps to read adjacent verses. You can obtain proper context by doing so. Now consider this. If somebody teaches that the 2 Thessalonians 2:1 gathering is the Matthew 24:31 gathering, then they are correct. And simply be aware that the 2 Thessalonians 2:3 reveals that the Antichrist will be revealed before the 2 Thessalonians 2:1 gathering occurs. 2 Thessalonians 2:3 reveals that the 2 Thessalonians 2:1 gathering cannot possibly be a pre-tribulation gathering. And remember that 2 Thessalonians 2:9 reveals that Jesus Christ will come after the working of Satan. Now, think about this. If a teacher claims that 2 Thessalonians 2:1 through 3 and Matthew 24:15 through 31 are the same event, the same post-tribulation gathering that will post-date an alleged pre-trib rapture from years earlier, then that teacher is claiming that 2 Thessalonians 2:1 through 3 and Matthew 24:15 through 31 were directed at people who will get left behind during an alleged pre-trib rapture. If some teacher claims that the Matthew 24:31 gathering is an event that will post-date an alleged pre-trib rapture from years earlier, and if that same teacher claims that the 2 Thessalonians 2:1 gathering will predate the Matthew 24:31 gathering, then that teacher needs to remember that 2 Thessalonians 2:3 reveals that the 2 Thessalonians 2:1 gathering cannot possibly be a pre-tribulation gathering. All glory to Jesus Christ.